Hello everyone and welcome for this new video. So as I'm speaking right now, Star Wars First Departure R is going to release in about 5 hours and I'm super excited for it, and I thought that I might do, some kind of building guide to go through Star Wars First Departure based on the PSP game. So they did announce a rebalance of the thing, so I don't know how much this will affect the gameplay. So I kept it as general as possible with some tips, but I'm not going to go into too much details, but I'll do my best. So I'm going to make a team building guide, so how to make a strong team in Star Ocean First Departure. And I have three main aspects for that. So first one is level up your character's stats, the second one is to level up your character's skills, and the third one is of course the team synergy. So let's go through each one of them. So first part is level up your stats. So how you do that is, well, firstly and basically by leveling up your characters. So you do that by farming or by going into dungeons. I don't need to explain that, I think. So yeah, level up your characters and get more stats like that. Then another very general tip, but still I'm gonna say it, is to always buy the best equipment possible in the shops. So when you go into a shop and see a new weapon that you don't have yet, if it's better for your character or not, you'll see a better, if it's better, you'll see a little up arrow, like for example Mavel here, and that means it's a better weapon for your character and you just have to buy it. So next up we have level up your skills. So I'm not going to too much details here again because I don't know how the rebalance will change that or not, but skills are basically something that you can buy into skill shops. Like in different towns you have skill shops and you buy books and you get those skills, for example. So these green skills are battle skills, and then you have white skills that are just normal skills. So I'm not going into too much detail about the skill system. I might do a video for it if people ask for it. But one thing I'm going to say is that leveling up your battle skills should not be your first priority when you go into the game at the beginning. One of the few skills that I recommend people to build up really soon, like as soon as they get it, is herbology, then effort, and then determination. Because these three skills, they allow you to basically level up easier, level up your skills easier, and get more effect from blueberries and blackberries, which are the basic healing items in the game. So these are extremely useful, and there are other white skills, not combat skills, that are extremely useful, so make sure to check them out before actually going to the battle skills. So then we have to level up your stats indirectly that way, but we have use your talents, super talents, and the item creation. So how you get those things are, well, with the skills that I just talked about. When you level them up, some skills will combine into creating new abilities, I guess, that your characters can use either on the battlefield or on, well, maybe, yeah, no, not on the battlefield, but outside of the battlefield, in towns, or just out of battle, basically. You'll be able to use those, and they allow you to get various things. So, for example, of item creation, here we have art, appraising, crafting, writing, and survival. So, for example, the art allows you to create various items from magic canvas and magic clays that you get into the game, and you can basically get things to use in battle, like healing items, attacking, offensive items, various stuff like that allows you to get stronger in battle and to basically sustain your team while you're in battle, basically. So it is really, really useful, and I highly recommend building that in the late game because, well, it gives you cool stuff. Then, for example, you have appraising. This is really important in this game because in this game, when you go through dungeons and stuff, you'll find, treasure chests, and some of them you cannot see or know what the item that you just got is unless you appraise it. So that's really useful. You can get weapons, equipments, items, a lot of stuff like that. Then you have crafting, for example, and this one allows you to create new and stronger equipment from the stones that you can get or buy in the game. So it is really cool. I never really use it myself, but it is really really useful in Star Ocean First Departure. As I said, the game was pretty easy to clear through on the PSP version. So hopefully, if we get rebalance, it would be cool to have something like Earth, Universe, and Chaos system, for example, like difficulties, right? Like they do in the other Star Ocean games. But I guess we'll see. So next we have the second part. Oh wait. So this is the talents, for example. These are only two talents that I have built up here on Fia, which are music and train. So music, for example, allows you to create and then perform music, and when you perform the music, you can get various bonuses like get healing MP or HP, or meet more monsters, or avoid monsters even, or special, like there is a music that triggers special battles that gets you amazing items. So music is really cool to make the game more challenging, I guess, if you want to fight more monsters, or less challenging if you want to meet less to avoid the monsters. I don't know, but it is really cool. So these are two examples of talents, but you have many more, of course. I just didn't build them up yet, so that's it. And then you have the super talents, and how these works is that if you build one talent, for example music, on multiple characters of your teams, I think it's around 4 characters. If you build music and art on 4 characters, for example, up to level 10, you get orchestra. And basically orchestra is better music performance and music creation. So it is really good, but that doesn't change much. But the other super talents are more useful, like the publication and group operating ones. So there are of course others, I just didn't build them up yet. But these super talents and item creations should not be taken lightly, because they can really change the flow of how you're playing, the flow of the game, and how easy you clear through the game or not. So that's it. Then we have the second part, which is level up your skills. So one skill type that I did not talk about yet was these special SFT skills, and these are called Secret Fighting Techniques books. And these are books, like skill books, that you cannot buy in the game. You have to get them by either going through the story, or going into dungeons and clearing them, and or doing PAs, like Roddick's Ultimate Secret Fighting Technique books is acquired through a PA with Ashley. But anyways, what these do is that when you go through the game with a character that you play with, you'll get some basic powers, as I say, by just leveling up into this game. Like for example, Ilya gets, just by leveling up, she gets Meteor Palm, Explosive Kick, Avenging Fist, and Palm of Destruction, with Palm of Destruction being the first one that you get. And if for example you get, well, you'll have to get the 4 beasts, because the king gives it to you in the story. But anyways, when getting the 4 beasts SFT, if you build it up, you basically, if you use your basic powers while having built up these books, you'll get new enhanced versions of these powers. For example, the beast 4 beast SFT gives Ilya Blue Worm Strike, Tiger Claw, Tortoise Smash, and Phoenix Blast, which are enhanced version of her 4 basic skills that I talked about earlier. And these skills, especially for Ilya, are extremely OP, and basically using the SFT books and SFT skills allows you to make very powerful parties, which can fight very difficult monsters and bosses in the game. So definitely use these up and build these up because they are extremely useful in this game. Okay, then we have use your special art and spells, spam them. So for example, you can see on Fia here, Aqua Spread, which I used 513 times. Oops, 513 times. And by the way, if you get Aqua Spread with Fia, that is her, like for me, to me, it is her strongest power. Like this is amazing. Anyways, when you fight with against monsters basically, and that you spam or use a lot one of your skills, basically the skill will get stronger because you used it a lot, right? One example of this would be fairy healing that Melee or Ares have in the game, and these skills are like the spells, for example, are the most visible of them, but if you spam fairy healing, if you use it a lot, you'll notice as you go through the game that you get more bubbles and angels to come down. Well, you might not see what I'm talking about right now, but when you go through the game, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. And basically, it allows you to get a better effect out of it. Like, it heals more, and it's more entertaining, so yeah. Then we have, so third part of the video, team synergy. So the first little part of it is the character strategy that we have in the game. So in the game you have three main types of characters: attackers, which basically go onto the front and attack the enemies, and symbologists. And in the symbologists you have two types: the healing and defensive symbologist and the offensive symbologist. And basically that will change the strategy menu that you can use in the battle. So first, for the attackers, you have this menu here, which is attack with all you've got, protect your friends, save your special arts, spread out and attack, stay away from enemies, and do not do anything. And at first this might seem kind of complicated, but it is pretty straightforward. Like, if you put attack with all you've got on a character, it will basically attack, like it'll go on the monster and attack you until it dies and then change targets, right? And you have protect your friends, and that is really interesting because it goes hand in hand with the affection system that we have in the game, which is another complex thing that I'll talk about in a minute. And basically, if one character is in danger of being killed, or is in danger, yeah, of being killed, or yeah, that's it, I guess, your character will rush to the other one to help him, basically, or her. And so that's really useful. Like, if you use an attacker and then you have other attackers in the team, the one that you can use attack with all you've got on this. By the way, if you use a character, the strategy that you put on it does not affect it because you're the one controlling it. But if, for example, your symbologist of the team is being attacked, the other characters will rush to help him while you're still attacking at the front. So that's really useful. Then we have the affection level so this is for the offensive symbologist, which is Ronix basically. He has attack with all your all your MPs, save your spells, spread out and attack, don't use any spells, attack with your weapon and don't do anything. Again, this is pretty straightforward, so I don't need to explain anything here. Then you have this for the defensive symbologists, Joshua and Ares, and the healing symbologist, Melee. Focus on healing your friends, again pretty straightforward, and do what it takes to win. So do what it takes to win works as if the symbologist is, like, you know, fighting in the battle and all, if the characters need healing, it'll switch to heal mode. If not, then it'll switch to either buffing mode for Melee or attacking mode for Joshua and Ares. So I usually always let these characters on do what it takes to win, but focus on healing your spells, your friends, can be really useful too. So that all depends on your playstyle, I guess. So now we have the affection level that I was talking about, which affects the protect your friends thing. Anyways, So how the affection system works in this game is that when you go through the game and have characters fighting together side to side in the battlefield, uh, they will get affection points basically, and they will get closer to each other. Like for example, if you use a blueberry, like if you use Roddick and give Ilya a blueberry in the early games, she'll be like saying nothing. But at the end of the game, if you do the same thing, she'll be like, thank you, or thanks a lot. You know, that means that their affection went up, or is higher than what it was before. And this is really useful because it allows you to get to protect your friends strategy triggered more often. But also, if the character dies in the battle, your characters that are close to him are more likely to enter the rage mode, and they'll deal like twice or thrice the damage, and that's really useful and powerful too. Okay, then we have team composition for the team synergy. So I have some examples of good pairs that I think work well together, like Fia and Cs, for example, work well together because they cover one another's weaknesses. Like Fia is really fast and it attacks and deals a lot of damage at the front, and she's also kind of a mid-range character, while Cs is a very short-range tanky character, and so they basically work well together by protecting each other, and they also have high affection if you go through PAs and stuff, which again allows you to get protect your friends and rage more triggered more easily, which is of course really good. Another good pair that we have is Joshua and Ares. Like, some people do not used to use multiple symbologists in their team, but Joshua and Ares is actually a really good pair because you have both of these characters, more true for Ares though, but both of these characters are really good at healing the others. So if your attackers are at the front are facing like really dangerous monsters, both of them can heal, and if one of them is attacked, then the other one can heal the other. So that's really powerful, and both of these characters like Joshua and Ares are extremely powerful with their offensive powers, so that's really a good pair to me at least. That's just my opinion. Then we have, for example, Roddick and Tanique. So this is more of a story pair, but it is really understandable why these two work well together. You have Roddick, the main hero, works like he's good on everything basically. He's the main protagonist, he's the hero, so he's of course a really good character. And then you have Tanique, who is kind of similar and kind of a little bit more powerful, I think. Well, that's just my opinion though. But these two are really complete characters, and since Tanique has like as a base really high affection for Roddick, this is really good too. So Roddick will, you know, reciprocate that affection and enter the rage mode easier or more easily, I guess. So then I came up with some team compositions that I think were pretty good. So let's go over them. First off, we have Joshua, Muvel, Perici, and Ilya. This is powerful because you have Joshua at the back healing and dealing damage with his spells, and then if you control Muvel, for example, like Muvel and Ares, for story reasons which I'm not spoiling in this video, are the most like powerful characters in this game. Like, to me, I don't know how the rebalance will affect that, but to me these are like the most OP characters. Like Muvel is such a strong character to have on the team. Like, she deals a ton of damage, and same for Ares, but she's at the back with her spells, right? So you have Joshua at the back healing and dealing damage with spells, Muvel destroying the enemies on the battlefield, and then you have Perici and Ilya who are there to provide support. So one example of strategy for this would be Joshua with do what it takes to win, Muvel with attack with all you've got, Perici and Ilya will protect your friends, and this is really good. Like, this team is really strong. Well, that's just my opinion, but when I go through the game with that team, it's really rare for me to die. another team composition I came up with, and most people do not agree with that, but it's actually the full Symbologist team. So Joshua, Millie, Ares, and Ronix. Like this, in the early game, it's not that powerful because you know you have the incantation time and all that stuff. But when you build your combat skills, this is extremely powerful, like hasten speech, concentration, and recast. If you build those three things up for these four characters, this team becomes unstoppable. Like really, unless you don't like seeing the spells stopping the time, this is extremely powerful. I rarely ever die with that team. The enemies do not have time to attack me because I just have these skills built up and these spells that deals a lot of damage, and I have four symbologists dealing like using their spells at the same time. That's really powerful. Again, that's just my opinion. That's just a proposition of team that I'm making here. And a third proposition would be Roddick, Mavel, Perici, and either Ilya or Welch. So a full attacker team. You might think that you need some healing, but Perici actually has healing dance, which is a healing skill of course, and magical dance too, which heals MP. Anyways, this team is really powerful because you have, again, Mavel being the star of your team dealing a lot of damage, Roddick being that extremely powerful protagonist who will deal a lot of damage on the front by also providing support, Perici being that support character which is really fast and really, healing with her skills. And then you can go with Ilya for extra damage and support, or with Welch. So if you're controlling Welch, she becomes really powerful, but I'll go into more details in a moment. So that's basically it for this guide. Right now I'm going to talk about each character and what makes them strong or not in this game. So you're free to go at this point, I guess. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!